CrossFit Inc. has had more ownership drama than a reality TV show. Founded in 2000 by Greg Glassman, the company exploded into a global fitness empire. Until 2020, when Glassman torched his own reputation with inflammatory comments following the murder of George Floyd. The backlash was immediate. Major sponsors pulled out. Athletes revolted. Affiliates threatened to cut ties. CrossFit was on the brink of collapse. Desperate for damage control, Glassman sold the company to Eric Roza, a tech entrepreneur and former CEO of Datalogics, backed by private equity firm Berkshire Partners. Roza stepped in as CEO, relocated CrossFit's headquarters to Boulder, Colorado, and by the end of the year, restructured the company into an LLC. For a moment, it seemed like CrossFit had found its corporate savior, but the stability didn't last. In February 2022, Roza suddenly stepped down as CEO. 6 months later, Don Fowle, a former Facebook and Google exec, took over. But by then, the cracks were already showing. Fast forward to 2024, and now? CrossFit Inc. is back on the market. This begs the question, why can't CrossFit keep a steady owner? And more importantly, what does this instability mean for the future of the sport? At first glance, you might think, so what? Companies get bought and sold all the time. But here's the problem. CrossFit isn't just another fitness brand. It's a movement, a lifestyle, a sport with a fiercely loyal community. And yet, behind the scenes, it's been treated more like a failing tech startup, passed around from one owner to the next, each promising big changes before quietly stepping away. So what's the issue? Money, management, or something deeper? Well, let's break it down. CrossFit has a fundamental identity crisis. Is it a sport, a training methodology, or a corporate business? Glassman ran it like a cult. Roza tried to run it like a business, and now, no one really knows what it's supposed to be. And that confusion? That's a problem. Because when leadership doesn't have a clear direction, it creates uncertainty at every level. From the top execs to the gym owners, to the athletes grinding away in affiliates worldwide. And here's where it gets even messier. CrossFit is not a typical franchise. Affiliates pay for a name, not a standardized business model. There's no corporate control over how gyms operate, no centralized revenue stream. And in an era where fitness giants like F45 and Orange Theory are scaling rapidly with strict franchise models, CrossFit still operates like the Wild West, which makes it hard, very hard, for any new owner to figure out how to make it both profitable and sustainable. So, if CrossFit is such a global phenomenon, why isn't there a line of buyers fighting to get their hands on it? Simple. Owning CrossFit Inc. is like inheriting a high-performance race car with no brakes. It looks exciting, but the second you take the wheel, you realize you have no control. Here's the reality. CrossFit doesn't own its gyms. Unlike F45, Orange Theory, or even Planet Fitness, CrossFit's affiliate model means gym owners are free to do their own thing. That means no guaranteed revenue stream, no corporate oversight, and no control over how the brand is represented. Imagine trying to scale that into a billion-dollar business. It's like herding cats. Except the cats are all former Navy SEALs who don't like being told what to do. Then there's the leadership problem. Since Glassman left, CrossFit has been in a corporate identity crisis. Eric Roza came in with a big vision but left before he could execute it. Then Don Fowle, a former Facebook exec, took over as CEO. But does he have the power to steer the ship? Or is he just keeping the lights on while investors look for an exit? And let's not forget the competition. CrossFit was once the disruptive force in fitness. Now, it's fighting for relevance in a market flooded with high-intensity interval training brands, hybrid endurance races like Hyrox, and even boutique gym chains that deliver the same functional fitness experience, just with better branding and marketing. So, what now? Does CrossFit finally find the right buyer, or does it continue its slow descent into chaos? There are a few possibilities. One option? A private equity firm steps in, which usually means aggressive cost-cutting, a focus on profits over community, and a potential shift toward a franchise model. That could standardize the brand, but also destroy the independent spirit that makes CrossFit unique. Option 2, a major fitness brand absorbs it. Think Nike, Rogue, or even a supplement company looking to expand its empire. That could mean better funding, better marketing, and global expansion. But it could also turn CrossFit into a sanitized, commercialized version of itself. More corporate fitness, less hardcore community. And then there's the nightmare scenario. CrossFit struggles to find a buyer, bleeds money, and slowly declines into irrelevance. The games get weaker. Affiliates start to break away. And what was once the most dominant force in fitness becomes just another remember when story. The question isn't just who buys CrossFit. It's whether anyone can buy it and keep the sport intact. Because let's be honest, CrossFit's biggest strength has always been its community. But if leadership keeps playing musical chairs, how much longer will that loyalty last? CrossFit has survived controversy before. It's been called a cult, a fad, even a lawsuit waiting to happen. And yet, it's still here. But with ownership changing hands again, the real question is, can it survive this? Will the next buyer save the sport or finally break it beyond repair? Let's hear it. What do you think is next for CrossFit? Is this just another bump in the road, or is the sport heading for a total collapse? Drop your thoughts in the comments.